Creative Tech Podcast. Hi, I'm Kaori Ray, product designer and author. Our mission is to help people in their career and lives by sharing their creative and technology stories. Okay, and then next question, Masa. Why did you decide to move to Tokyo?
Super short version of this story though is when I was in Boston, I met my current girlfriend. She's Japanese, born and raised in Japan. She was there studying abroad at the time. Met her, we started dating, and when she came back, I just came too.
I see. Yeah, good to know. And then you found the first job or position in Tokyo.
It was slightly outside of Tokyo, like a few stations out. So my career path is very windy and doesn't make any sense. So I was working with kids, schools, etc. in the US. Came to Japan, didn't know what to do, so I started teaching at an eikaiwa school, so teaching English there. Knew I needed to do something else. So I left that after a year and then worked as in like a back office HR position for a startup web development agency startup. And then was working there for a little bit and then started freelancing, and then now my current position is community manager.
Interesting. So current position is like a startup, HR, community management. So I don't know, you are still making video content? Do you?
I do a little bit, yeah.
Oh my gosh, everything combined.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Cool.
I just think of everyone as like, it's either everyone is a kid or all kids are also adults and everyone is just people. And so it's really just kind of doing everything and mashing it all together right now.
Amazing. Okay, next question. Could you please tell us about your passion recently besides your work?
Passion is an interesting question.
Yeah, hobby or whatever.
Yeah, so the stuff that I like to do changes a lot. One of the things that I start to get into every once in a while, as of like last year or the year before, was not quite illustration. I like making things, and so being able to do some sort of art-related activity has always been fun to me. So now I like to dabble with like pixel art sometimes.
Pixel art?
Yeah.
Okay, what is this?
It's basically illustrations except on a much smaller scale. So like dottoe.
How small?
It depends on how. I mean, like I'm not like doing things. It's digital, so it's massive. Yeah. So, but being able to work with instead of like smooth lines, they're more dot by dot.
Like Super Mario.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanna see. How can we see your artwork? Instagram?
It's a good. No, I don't post. I don't really post it much. There's a couple things that I have on like my Twitter that I post every once in a while, but yeah. So that's something that came from, I think 2 years ago, I started to dabble in the crypto and NFT space. And there's a lot of different artists that kind of gathered in that space for the better or for worse. Being able to speak with a lot of these different artists from all over the world, being able to see kind of what people are making was very interesting to me. And through that space, one of the community members, he's not an artist, but he gifted me a software that is specifically for doing pixel art.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that's kind of how it started. Of like me trying to, because before that I was trying to do it in like Photoshop and it wasn't working. He gave me that program. So I've been playing with that and doing pixel art there. That evolved a little bit into, it's like, well, I have all these little characters and things that I can make now. It's like, what else can I do with them? And then I started to teach myself how to create games. So using the Godot engine and trying to match like pixel art stuff and put it into games and seeing if I can make that work as well.
Okay, amazing, Masa. So you are creating character using pixel, and then you are now making game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making games is a very stretch. I haven't made anything tangible really, but yeah, just kind of slowly in that learning process, trying to do that in my free time.
Amazing. So you learned two software at least to make character by dot.
Yeah.
And then next is making a game. So
Yeah.
you learn.
So just being able to, and how do I make a move and how to make it more interactive? Yeah.
Cool, amazing. I love that. You were so people person, and then you were so creator. Amazing.
It's a balance, right? Because like the people side of things, it's a lot of fun. But I don't think I can be with people all the time, and I like kind of doing things by myself too. So it's a good balance.
I love that. I am also kind of similar person. I love listening to people's story. Cannot stop. Besides, I like drawing or recently when I visited my parents' house, we did gardening together. Yeah, I haven't touched real soil in a while. So in my hometown, Saitama, next to Gunma, so there are many home center like Home Depot, and then like a gardening section. It's super cheap to buy like herb, like mint or basil.
Yeah.
Oh, so pretty and so impressive. I miss it. Yeah,
it's fun. We tried that once in our apartment. We bought like a basil pot thing.
Yeah.
And it grew a little bit, and then we cut it. We ate it. We cut a little bit, and then it died. So I don't know.
I see.
It is what it is, but we're not very good at it.
Yeah, but at least you could.
Yeah, we got one time. Yeah. Do you eat your plants, the mint and the basil and whatever?
Yeah. So mint, just putting the still water, like not the tea, but good smell, and we can get mint ekisu, like juice. So good for our health. Of course, basil, like with tomato salad, and dill. And my favorite herb is rosemary.
Yep.
So good.
Can you just pull it off and use it in cooking?
Yeah, just chicken or pork, and then frying pan. So good.
Okay. I like how it smells.
Yeah, right?
It's a very nice scent. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, next question, Masa. Okay, I have two questions.
Yep.
Next question is, so you born and raised in New York and then came to Tokyo. So could you please tell us about your observation? What is the difference in software or website between the US and Japan?
Yeah, I hate Japanese websites. Now a lot, especially like, I mean, I think it's the same with the US as well. Like government websites across the board are pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But one of the things that one of the most frustrating parts of Japan is the web user experience, right? The interface and the experience. So maybe this is just my personal bias. Maybe it's because of like the sites that I use. Maybe it's an actual thing, but it seems consistent. UIs, I think, are more simpler and direct in, at least in the US. In Japan, it's a lot more complicated. Right? There's a lot more stuff everywhere. Which, talking to a bunch of people here in Japan, Japanese people that grew up in Japan, like they prefer that. Right? More information is better, is what I hear. I don't really like that. I like much simpler, easy to understand things. But apart from that, I think one of the things that I find interesting or weird is there's a lot of websites that I think are now more designed for mobile, but then on desktop, it's still for mobile, right? Like it's still, there's like a ton of space on the sides and whatnot. So yeah, I guess that's like the biggest difference I've seen.
Yeah. So have you ever seen Japanese company or Japanese salaryman's presentation deck? Many information.
There's each slide has so much stuff on it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like I understand. Like, oh, we need to present as much information as possible in a short amount of time. So just put everything on it. You need like a magnifying glass to see all the info. But I think it's also the difference between how you read English and how you read Japanese too, right? English, you kind of have to read everything. Japanese, you can kind of skim through things and just look for specific characters, and it'll still
Because of
make sense.
kanji.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier, I think. So I mean, I can understand from that perspective, but it just looks so messy.
I see. Yeah, as a Japanese and then lived in New York, what I learned from them is, so there are many neurodiversity people. I think Japan also, there are many neurodiversity people, but they tend to hide. But in the, maybe New York, they accept, and then many neurodiversity people want to advocate. So, if we have a poster or a presentation, many information, they cannot understand. And then as a software company, if we have such a website, we may lost maybe like, I don't know the correct number, 5% or 10% of people, potential customer, we are losing, right? So we had better to learn, what can I say, standard of website or presentation which has like appropriate information and color.
Yeah, I was at an event. It was a Women Who Code event before Women Who Code disassembled, but it was a front end developers talk session.
Is it Mercari?
It wasn't at Mercari.
No.
It was at Henge, that one. But they were talking about the whole accessibility side of things, right? Where there's just so much where it's like, oh, we could do this to make it easier for people, maybe people to see or to navigate through a different UI. And what they said was, there's an understanding of like, maybe we should do this, but the extra costs and the extra resources that it would take to make that, apparently it's just, no, I don't want to think about that, just make it, just keep it straightforward as whatever the basic thing is to keep costs down, which is unfortunate, but I guess business is business.
Yeah, I see. So I am a product designer, so I had to interrupt to stakeholders. Hey, you guys, I know we have already good website, product, but blah, blah, blah. So I have to convince we have better to change, update UI, and then we could not lose potential clients. So this is my job, so I have to interrupt. Sorry, I know you don't like me, but please. Yeah, this is my work, but I have to do it.
No, but but it's your job to be the voice for that, right? So makes sense.
And then, okay, next question. So as you are Japanese, but raised in US, you knew show and tell, right? So as a Japanese, we don't know about show and tell. We don't have education of storytelling, so that we are not good at speak out to people. So you knew it, right?
Yeah. It's like whenever you go to events, it's like, does anyone have any questions? Does anyone want to say anything else? It's just like, no. So
you saw many Japanese people.
Yeah, I think that's it's an interesting. The way you phrase it is also interesting, because you say show and tell, like for us. In schools, it's like one of the first things that I think we do in like elementary school, of just like being able to go in front of the classroom and just give a mini presentation on like, what do you like? Like, this is my bear, whatever. This is my, pet.
Did you bring something?
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was, but I do remember bringing like toys in. And kind of talking about that, but I don't remember what the toy was. I don't remember the details, but I remember I brought it in because every week was a different person, and I think the week before someone else brought the same toy I had, so I think I brought the same one. Yeah. But yeah, I guess but there are like presentation, like kids in Japan still practice presentation of like reports and stuff. Though. Yeah. But I guess like not so much of like personal. Right?
Yeah, so I wish I could get this education, storytelling, even just a show and tell. So this year, I decided to one of what can I say goal is to practice show and tell storytelling with our community because many people want to improve because as an entrepreneur, designer, creator, we have to present what do we making, what do we have a service or like that, right? So important.
Yeah. It's definitely hard, right? Kind of like we're seeing it more now of, I mean, if you put it in a very general kind of phrasing, it is storytelling, but a lot of that is also like branding, marketing, and like these like more professional terms around it. But and it gets the more you're trying to represent, or the more the stakes are, I guess. Like the more specific it has to be, the more careful you have to be. I guess you lose a little bit of that creativity, but it's a challenge, I think.
Yeah, but thanks to like listening someone's storytelling, I think I like him or her like more, right? Because storytelling is most of more personal things, like open-minded. Okay, I didn't know that she likes Indian curry. Oh, me too. Oh, I want to hear more about it like that. So the reason why I escaped to the US is I'm kind of open-minded person, like I don't know, Osaka no Oba-chan. So I like this culture, so why not I can bring this culture to even only few people in here, and then we can be comfortable more than I wish.
That's funny. It's funny the way you phrase it. Escaped from Japan or escaped to the US.
Yeah, we are kind of opposite.
Yeah. No, it's like it's funny hearing that, just because I think people use that term a lot when people go from Japan to somewhere else. But you can't. What's nice is, or what's interesting is that you came back and you feel like you've got something that you want to bring back and share with everyone else too.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's really cool.
So we have kind of mutual things. We knew, for example, US company or startups pain point in terms of course, you are specialist of like people management. For me, specialist of the product design. And then we know the pain points from Japanese startups. So we can be a kind of bridge person. This is, I want to try.
That sounds super cool.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, no, definitely. There's so many, especially within the international community in Tokyo too, right? There's a lot of like, I know kind of what I want, but I don't know where to get it. Or like, I know something's missing, but I don't know what it is. And just being able to, having someone like yourself and just kind of being able to come in, and whether it's sharing people's stories through something like this, right? And being able to meet these people, kind of create this library of individuals, and then sharing that, being able to use that to connect others, and then also taking your kind of design and your other talents and matching those where it's needed, I think is really cool.
Yeah, we can try. Okay, last question, Masa.
Okay.
Could you please tell us about your dream in 5 years and 10 years, whatever?
It's a tricky question.
Yeah.
I hate this question.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, the reason why I don't like this question is, I have been, well, one, I don't think about the future enough. That's probably the problem. But when a year before I came to Japan, I would have never guessed that I would have been in Japan. A year before I was working as a camp director in Boston, even like a few months before, I would have never guessed that I was going to be in that area, right? When I went to university, I entered as a computer science major, but I graduated with a psychology degree. So nothing has gone according to plan, like ever in my life. I mean, and I say that in the best way possible, right? It's not like things have gone terribly, but because of that, there's a part of me that just rejects this notion of like making a plan for that far ahead into the future. That being said, for me, like, I just want to live like a super chill life with just family, kids, dogs, and just be able to relax and just have fun, whatever fun means to me at the time.
I see. So maybe in future, you will be in Japan and New York or other city?
That's a good question, and that's a question that that I kind of ponder every once in a while. There's no great answer to it. One of the biggest questions in my life right now is, maybe I shouldn't be worrying about it yet, is like, when I have kids, where am I going to raise them? Am I going to raise them in Japan, or am I going to raise them in the US? There's pros and cons to both sides.
Yeah.
Not just like the culturally, but family-wise as well. Like for me, my family is in America, but they're not really in like they're not super stable to be able to help me as much as maybe they would like to be able to. But then if we go to the US, then that child will be separated from my current girlfriend's family, right? But then flip side, where if we stay here, then it's separated from my side's family. So there's things like that. Then there's like educational, there's language. What do we want, later on? So more recently, it has been less about like, what do I want? And it's been much more of like, what is the future little me gonna be like? So I'm getting old, I guess.
I see. Okay, so having a family time is so your high priority.
Yeah, I want to say it is. I don't think about it on a day-to-day basis though. So it's not, but whenever I think about this question about the future, that's where my mind goes to.
I see. Great. Thank you so much. Okay. Masa, thank you so much for your precious time and amazing wisdom.
No, thank you for having me. I hope it was an interesting kind of talk.
Yeah. I would love to interview you soon again.
Yeah, no, we'd love to. Because I'm sure next time we do, maybe I'm doing something completely different, or I don't know what it'll be doing. So yeah, just kind of seeing where the wind takes me.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much for listening our Creative Tech podcast today. We hope our story to help your career and life. See you soon. Bye bye.